is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 1:15. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira. Read by Victor Raj. First, take a look at the headlines of the local news. The next hearing of Express Pearl case will be convened on the 15th of this month in Singapore. The investigations into the financial frauds and unwanted expenditure that have been carried out by some of the officials of the local government bodies have commenced. A program will be prepared to empower to identified groups who were in economic difficulties. Badu Vital Lokumalli arrested with drug and sharp weapons. Australia deports 41 Sri Lankans of illegal immigration attempt. French journalist killed near Bakhmut. Local news in detail. The adjournment debate on the Express Pearl maritime disaster is being debated in Parliament today. Justice Minister Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that according to the parliamentary traditions, under the standing orders of the Parliament, the debate in this regard cannot be conducted as there is a case in courts. He stated that everyone is bound to safeguard the independence of the judiciary. A case has been filed in Singapore court on 25th of April in this regard. The objective is to charge $6.4 billion from the company and insurance company. The case was convened yesterday and the next hearing of case will be convened on the 15th of this month. Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardene temporarily adjourned the parliament sessions this morning due to a tense situation in the House. State Minister Chanaka Wakkumara says the investigations into the financial frauds and unwanted expenditure that have been conducted by the staff of the local government bodies have commenced. Although the functions of the local government bodies are not implemented, special attention will be paid on misuse of vehicles. This practice was carried out in all 9 provincial councils. It has been revealed that some state officials have been engaged in financial malpractices in a large scale in most of the institutions functioned under local government bodies. He made these remarks at a media briefing held in Colombo. He also stated that the program will be implemented to look into such activities. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Digital accounts can now be opened in 10 minutes. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
Continuing with more local news, a program will be prepared to empower to identify the identified groups who were in economic difficulties. State Minister Anup Pasquale said that this program will be prepared without political mediation in order to equality to all. The relevant beneficiary families have been identified according to the survey conducted by the Social Welfare Board. The beneficiary payment will be given to 2 million people. The beneficiary payment will begin from the 1st of July. He made these remarks while participating in Subharati program of SLBC today. All parties have agreed to work together until the problems of import of eggs and the increase of production is solved. This decision has been reached at a discussion held with affiliated ministers and institutions held at the Agriculture Ministry. Minister Mahinda Amaravira has been convened to this meeting. Views have been expressed regarding the clash that was occurred between the Consumer Protection Authority and the owners of the poultry farms. The ministry has pointed out that all should be worked together to eradicate the existing egg shortage in the country. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) says a team of its staff will be visiting Sri Lanka from tomorrow to the 23rd of this month. This visit comes as part of the regular consultation between the global lender and the island nation ahead of the first review mission later this year. IMF's Director of Asia and Pacific Department, Krishna Srinivasan, will be joining this visit. Police Special Task Force (STF) has arrested a close associate of the large-scale drug dealer Shiran Basik along with the heroin and sharp weapons. The suspect, Chaminda Kumar Silva alias Badu Vitalukumali, is a 37-year-old resident of the Dehiwala area, the police said. The apprehension has been carried out in the Lake Road area of Athidia, according to a tip-off received by the officials of the special raids raids unit established in the police STF headquarters. The police STF mentioned that the suspect was arrested while he was traveling in a car and that 16 grams of heroin, which is estimated to be worth around 300,000 rupees, and 2 sharp weapons were found inside the vehicle. The arrested suspect has been handed over to the Dehiwala police station for onwards legal action and is scheduled to be produced before Mount Lebanon Magistrates Court. That ends local news.
Debit card, mobile and internet banking and cardless cash accounts can now be opened in just 10 minutes with no form filling with People's Bank Digital Banking.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
A group of Sri Lankan immigrants have been deported after attempting to enter Australia illegally. Thereby, a total of 41 Sri Lankans who were repatriated by the Australian security forces reached the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunaika this morning in a special flight. After being taken into custody of the Australian security forces, the illegal immigrants were detained at the Christmas Island. Majority of the deportees are reportedly residents of Jaffna and Walachene. They had entered the Australian maritime border using multi-day fishing vessels. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, residents of North Central Province are facing many difficulties on suspending the carpeting of the Ganevela and Dachi Halmilab road in Midway. This is the main road the people are using to get to their daily routings. They requested the relevant authorities to take speedy measures to develop this road. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. French journalist killed near Bakhmut. India's booming population needs more women at work. Mass protests across Pakistan after ex-Prime Minister's arrest. World news in detail. A 32-year-old French journalist has been killed while reporting from the war zone in eastern Ukraine. Armand Soldin, who worked for AFP news agency, died yesterday after being hit by a rocket fire near Chaziv Yar, just west of Bakhmut. A team of journalists came under attack yesterday while with a group of Ukrainian soldiers. French President Emmanuel Macron paid tribute to Soldin's work on the front lines of the war. We share the pain of his loved ones and his colleagues, he wrote in a tweet. Last month, India surpassed China as the world's most populous country, prompting analysts to point out the potential benefits of its significant young demographic. However, a major obstacle to realize this potential is the insufficient representation of women in India's workforce. The BBC's Arunodaya Mukherjee reports when Lavanya Uluganthan decided to take a break from work in 2014 to have a baby, she felt torn and dismayed. Violent clashes have broken out in Pakistan between security forces and supporters of former Prime Minister Imran Khan after he was arrested yesterday. Protests are erupting nationwide and at least one person has been killed in the city of Quetta. The United States and the UK have called for adherence to the rule of law. Mr. Khan was arrested by security forces at the High Court in the capital Islamabad. Dramatic footage shows dozens of officers arriving and detaining the 70-year-old who was bundled in a vehicle and driven away. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. French journalist killed near Bakhmut. India's booming population needs more women at work. Mass protests across Pakistan after ex-Prime Minister's arrest. That ends world news.
Development news.
11 road network projects in the gold districts will be implemented. The aim of this program is to develop the agricultural activities in the area. The Regional Irrigation Office said that 1.9 million rupees will be spent for the program. That ends development news. Moving on to sports news. Leader of the T20 team, Dasun Shanaka, has been selected for the T20 cricket tournament to be played in US. The Seattle Orcas have signed Sri Lankan's ODI and T20 skipper Dasun Shanaka for this year's inaugural edition of the Major League Cricket in the United States of America. Shanaka is currently with the Gujarat Titans in the Indian Premier League. Gujarat Titans have brought Shanaka as a replacement for Kane Williamson, who was ruled out of IPL 2023 after injuring his knee in the opening game of the season against Chennai Super Kings in Ahmedabad. That ends sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Deva Soap Powder Producing Company has initiated a training program for women entrepreneurs. The aim of this move is to take part more women in business ventures. The company has conducted 2 training sessions in Dankotur and Jaffna areas. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
Baby fish have been released to 13 waterways and rivers in Mathura district to develop the freshwater fishing industry. 170 Fisher families in the area will be benefited. The government has allocated 2.4 million rupees in this regard. That ends economic news.
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northwestern and southern provinces. Fairly heavy showers above 75 mm are likely to take place at some places in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Gol and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern province. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere over the island, particularly during the afternoon or night. Strong winds above 40 to 45 km per hour can be expected at times over western and southern coastal areas and along the western slopes of the central hills. That ends weather report. To wrap up the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The next hearing of the Express Pearl case will be convened on the 15th of this month in Singapore. The investigations into the financial frauds and unwanted expenditure that have been carried out by some of the officials of the local government bodies have commenced. A program will be prepared to empower to identify groups who were in economic difficulties. Balu Vitalokumalli arrested with drugs and sharp weapons. Australia deports 41 Sri Lankans over illegal immigration attempt. Foreign news, French journalist killed near Bakhmut. With that, we wrap up the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka.